Okay, take 3. I'm having some technical difficulties here. I'm going to be reading from this book. Most people would say it's a pamphlet. It's about Islam. And I wanted to share it with you for various reasons, which I don't have the intelligence to articulate. So here's the back of the book. And here's the front of the book. And I'd like to read from it. Whoever is guided for his own good, and whoever goes astray does so in his detriment. No sinner will bear the sins of anyone else. We never punish without first sending a messenger. Quran 17:15. Now, if I could talk about my own life, I've been having trouble with mental illness. A lot of people don't understand mental illness, and if I could take a guess at something, I think one of the reasons I'm mentally ill is because I never grew up with a religious belief. So my anchor to reality is basically the Ontario government. And one of the first questions I was asked on the playground was, what religion are you? And I said I didn't know. And the question has haunted me for most of my life. I don't always think about it, but it haunts me. And another thing I was taught in school is to respect all races and religions. And I try to do that. I've been sober for a while now, not long enough, but I know intoxication makes you intolerant and hateful, and I've been intoxicated one way or another for a long time. The pills provided to me by the Ontario government and the medical establishment, they are drugs, and I read a bit of the English translation of the full book of the Quran, and it kept saying, God will know what is in your heart, referring to whether you accept the higher power. I don't think Muslims would consider Allah a deity. I don't know, I'm very ignorant. But I believe right now my layer of protection is within the Christian faith. So I'm going to read another message from the Quran. Anyone who accepts other than submission as his religion, it will not be accepted of him, and in the hereafter he will be with the losers. Quran 3:85. So submission, I don't think anyone wants to be submissive. Some people are capable of being submissive for periods of time. I was speaking with my dad about incarceration, like, what do I do if I'm incarcerated? And of course there's many ways to get out of incarceration, but I think in the past, during incarceration, I chose violence against property, and I regret that. And if I could compare it to the mythological Stone Age, when a male, no matter how at rest he is, if he is hungry, if he is scared, fight or flight, you know, that kind of thing. If he stays submissive long enough, the opposite happens. And thankfully, when I was in the hospital, they knew that I had snapped, and they were able to contain me, which I found very, very, very unpleasant. And I guess maybe Buddhists or Jainists are skilled at submissive lifestyles, but I'm speaking out of a very vast ignorance. So another quote, say, comma, if all the humans and the angels banded together in order to produce a Quran like this, they could never produce anything like it, no matter how much assistance they lent one another. Quran 1788. So I haven't fully read or been able to comprehend, I don't have the mental ability to comprehend deep religious texts. I attempt to, and it's very difficult. And so I am reading kind of like beginners books. You know, like when you were really young, they gave you the children's books. And then you moved on to the more advanced books, and I have many copies of various Bibles from different faiths, and I try to read them, and it feels like gibberish to me. And over a few years, I'm beginning to decipher some of the messages, but what I would like to do eventually is to read and comprehend holy books, and I believe, in my mind, the first step is the Christian Holy Bible, and I think maybe I understand the first page of Genesis, and that's it. I've read further, but it's very complicated, and you can't spend your whole life in your mind just dreaming, although that's something I remember I had been doing, and it felt good. I mean, there was suffering during it, but and then you can say life is cyclical, that there's periods of suffering and periods of speaking in military terms, peace. So for those of you out there who have never served in the Army, and I've never served in the Army, there are wars that happen at home. And I don't just mean in your house, I mean in your neighborhood, especially in a diverse, large city, but I would imagine also in a small town, or even some mansion out there with 2 people in it. So say if all humans and angels banded together in order to produce a Quran like this one, they could never produce anything like it, no matter how much assistance they lent each other. And Hillary Clinton said it takes a village to raise a child, and I feel like I'm not an adult. I'm 30 years old, and I feel like I'm not an adult. And I have suspicions on how you gain adulthood, and those suspicions first of all, they go against my instincts, and second of all, I believe in a lot of holy texts. Being childlike is a form of innocence, and innocence is good. So thank you. I know this was long. I'll finish with saying that my psychiatrist said I should do more comedy nights, and I believe I'm still expected to stay very close to home, and so these YouTube videos and these posts on Facebook are a way of honoring my psychiatrist, who I fear, and like there's cash money and there's brownie points, I don't know. So, thank you.
when you're bees, you get these floating worms in your eyes. They float and you can watch them spin in the air. Bees is amazing.